There's a car company that has never run a discount. Not once. Not in a recession, not to clear inventory, not to hit a quarterly number. And in 2025, that company sold fewer cars than the year before and made more money. Most business owners would panic at, "We sold less." Rolls-Royce sent out a press release and went back to work. Their most expensive car ever sold for $28 million. One car. They built exactly 3 of them and told everyone else, "Sorry, we're not making any more." I'm Trevor Samons, and this is Inspired Method. And in this series, we take the most powerful luxury brands on earth and pull out the one thing that's actually transferable, the thing that you can use whether you sell roofs, fix furnaces, or run a massage clinic out of a strip mall in Edmonton. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Rolls-Royce isn't expensive because it's a car. It's expensive because of a standard 2 men set in a hotel room in 1904. A standard that cost you nothing to adopt and could be worth everything in your business. Let's get into it. Every great brand starts with a story. Rolls-Royce starts with 2 men who on paper never should have met. The first is Henry Royce. Born in 1863, the son of a miller whose business fell apart. By the age of 10, Royce was selling newspapers on the street to help feed his family. No school, no money, no connections. What he did have was an obsession. He taught himself engineering, and in 1884 he started his own company building electrical equipment. And when he finally turned his attention to motor cars, that obsession became almost a sickness in the best possible way. He built an early 6-cylinder engine, and it had a vibration in the crankshaft, a really small one. That kind of flaw most manufacturers would ship out the door and never mention. Royce couldn't live with it. So instead of fixing it, he threw the whole thing out and designed a brand new car from scratch. Think about that for a minute. He didn't patch the problem. He didn't hide it under a warranty. He scrapped his own work and started over because nearly right physically bothered him. That instinct became the most important sentence in the entire company, Royce's creed. It's still the first thing you see when you walk into the Goodwood factory today. Strive for perfection in everything you do. Take the best that exists and make it better. When it does not exist, design it. Accept nothing nearly right or good enough. Sir Henry Royce. Now, the second man, Charles Rolls, and Charles is Henry's complete opposite. Aristocrat, educated at Eton and Cambridge, charming, magnetic, a natural-born salesman with money and a name that opened doors. Rolls wanted to sell the finest British cars in the world, and he wanted his name on them. On May 4th, 1904, a mutual contact got them in a room together at the Midland Hotel in Manchester. The working-class engineer and the aristocrat. And they shook hands on the simplest business arrangement you'll ever hear. Henry would make the perfect car. Charles would sell it. And that, right there, is the lesson most small businesses miss. Every great company is built on those 2 roles, the craftsman and the communicator. The one obsessed with the work and the one obsessed with getting the work in front of the world. If you're a tradesperson, you've probably maxed out on the craftsman side. Your work is excellent and you're invisible. You are Henry Royce with no Charles Rolls. That gap, that's the entire reason that this channel exists and why we're doing this series. Because first, you have to understand what they actually built. In 1907, Rolls-Royce released the car that made the legend. Officially, it was called the 4050 horsepower. Forgettable name. So their commercial director, a man named Claude Johnson, often called the hyphen in Rolls-Royce, did something brilliant. He took one car, painted it silver, plated the fittings in silver. He named it the Silver Ghost because it ran so quietly it was like a ghost. Then he did the thing that separates marketers from legends. He didn't run an ad, he created proof. He drove that car nearly 15,000 miles back and forth between London and Glasgow, 27 times, with officials from the Royal Automobile Club watching the entire way. At a time when ordinary cars broke down every 50 miles, the Silver Ghost finished the whole brutal run with the highest marks anyone had ever recorded. The British magazine Autocar watched all of this and gave it a phrase that has never left the brand in over 100 years. The best car in the world. Now here's the part I need you to underline. Rolls-Royce didn't call themselves the best car in the world, somebody else did. A trusted, independent third party said it because the product earned it. That's the most expensive marketing in the world, and it costs you nothing. When your work is so undeniable that your customers say the thing that you could never get away with saying yourself. Henry Royce died in 1933. The brand outlived him by nearly a century. Today, Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW, built at the factory in Goodwood, England. And they still write every customer letter in proper British English, even under German ownership, because that British story is part of what you're buying. 100+ years later, you still never heard anyone say, "My dishwasher runs like a Mercedes." It's always, "It runs like a Rolls-Royce." The name became the measurement of excellence itself. So how does a company turn a car into a measurement? Let's talk about why people actually buy one, because it has almost nothing to do with transportation. Rolls-Royce sells around 5,500 cars a year worldwide. That's it. Compared to almost any other manufacturer, that's nothing. And roughly 90% of those cars get exported out of the UK. When you talk to actual owners and documentary crews you find out they're not buying a car. They're buying one of 6 things, and every single one of these is available to your business. 1. It's a reward, not a purchase. Owners describe buying a Rolls as the moment they made it. One man saved his entire life, finally bought one, and called it the biggest emotional moment of his life. And 23 years later, the engine had never been touched. People don't pay that money to get from A to B. They pay it to mark an achievement. Number 2, it's identity, not status. A brand strategist put it perfectly. For these buyers, it stopped being about ownership and became about authorship. One owner spent $120,000 personalizing his car on top of the base price, including inventing a custom paint color named after his wife, specifically so that no other version of his car could exist. He wasn't buying a car, he was buying himself, expressed in metal and leather. 3, it changes how the world treats you. Every owner has the same story. People let them go first at intersections, hold doors open, save the best parking spot. The car rewrites the room before you even say a word. Number 4, it's a living story. There's a legendary dealer in Abu Dhabi who sells mostly bespoke Rolls-Royce cars. And he built this one car themed around the region's pearl diving heritage. Turquoise paint, seashell colored leather, mother of pearl inlays. He says he doesn't sell cars, he sells continuity. Stories that outlast the owner and become family heirlooms. 5, it's deliberately scarce. They keep waiting lists instead of building more cars. One dealer flat out told the buyer, "I can't supply you, we're short." And the buyer just wanted it more. 6, it's objectively, insanely well made. On their most expensive bespoke build, a single diamond set panel was rejected and rebuilt 3 times because individual stones were off by a fraction of a millimeter, about the thickness of a sheet of paper. Over 350 hours went into one interior panel. That's the foundation under everything. Rolls-Royce can sell emotion, identity, and story because underneath it all, the craftsmanship is real. You cannot fake your way to the best car in the world, and you can't fake your way to the best roofer, the best clinic, or the best electrician in your city either. So let's break this down, because none of this requires a single dollar more than you already have. I've boiled the entire Rolls-Royce playbook down to 8 principles. Steal all of them. Ready? Let's go. Number 1, define your non-negotiables before you ever open the doors. Royce scrapped a whole car over a vibration. Rolls-Royce scraps months of work over a fraction of a millimeter. Your version? Decide right now what you will absolutely not deliver below. What would you tear out and redo rather than hand it to a client? That answer is your quality floor. And your quality floor becomes your brand. The painter who repaints a wall because they see a flaw the client never would. That painter never has to advertise again. Word travels. Number 2, stop selling what you do. Sell who your customer becomes. Rolls-Royce doesn't sell diamonds in a dashboard. It sells the idea that you're someone who exists beyond ordinary time and space. So the most powerful question in your marketing isn't, what does my service do? It's, who does my customer become when they hire me? The homeowner who hires the premium roofer isn't buying shingles. They're becoming the person who protected their family and never has to think about it again. Build your message around that transformation, not your feature list. Number 3, never apologize for your price. Remember when I started this video? Rolls-Royce sold fewer cars in 2025, but made more profit because they refused to discount. In North America, a Rolls-Royce now starts around $400,000 US, and the Phantom flagship sits near $600,000. The starting price in Britain is north of £200,000, and most buyers add $50,000 in personalization on the top. Here's the psychology you need to internalize. Underpricing signals doubt. When you price below what your work is worth, the client's subconscious whispers, "What's wrong with it? I think there's a problem here. What's hiding?" Premium pricing, backed by real quality, signals confidence and filters out the wrong clients. You don't need more clients. You need the right clients who pay what the work is worth. Number 4, show the process, not just the result. When Rolls-Royce documented their $28 million car, they didn't just film the finished product. They spent 40 minutes filming the goldsmith's hands, the rejections, the redos, 8 months of obsession. The craft is the content. This is the one I want every trade in this audience to tattoo on their arm. Your phone is a film crew. The way you flash a roof, the way you diagnose a furnace nobody else could fix, the way you catch the mistake before your client ever sees it. This is your goldsmith's hands. Behind the scenes proof builds trust at a depth that no 5-star review ever could. And this is exactly the engine we build for clients at Inspired Method. One long form video of you doing the work atomized into 20 plus pieces of content that you show the world your standard. You're already doing the craft. You're just not filming it. Number 5, make it personal at every single touch point. Since 1911, Rolls-Royce has let clients co-create their car. Today, 90% of production is bespoke. That's not an upsell. It is the product. Buyers feel authorship, not just ownership. Your version costs nothing. Use the client's name. Remember their preferences. Build a proposal that proves you actually listen to their specific situation instead of copying and pasting a template. The design of your quote, the follow-up after the job, every one of those tiny choices tells the client, this was built for you. Number 6, tell your origin story relentlessly. The story of a working class engineer and an aristocrat meeting in 1904 to build the perfect car gets told at every Rolls-Royce touchpoint. Even under German ownership, every letter goes out in English because the British origin is the product. So, why did you start? What were you so unsatisfied with that you had to build something of your own? That's not marketing spin, that's conviction. And customers fall in love with brands that have a real story to tell. Number 7, you don't have to be available to everyone. Rolls-Royce builds about 3,500 to 5,000 cars a year and keeps a waiting list rather than scaling up. Their most exclusive cars, the boat tail and the drop tail, are limited to 3 or 4 units on Earth, and the demand is insane. You can do this at any size. Application-based onboarding, a capped client roster where you only accept 8 projects a quarter, The moment you communicate that your calendar has limits and your work is in demand, the perceived value of access to you goes up. Exclusivity increases desire, even for a two-person shop. Number 8, luxury is 1,000 small decisions. When Rolls-Royce launched a car in Vienna, they rented a palace for 2 weeks, shipped real trees in from England to build an indoor moonlit forest, and served a Michelin-starred dinner. Because in their words, the experience has to match the product. Even the grass on the front lawn at the factory is cut to a precise length. You have lawns too. Your proposal document, your invoice design, your email signature, the background on your video calls, the thank you note after the job. Individually, they seem like nothing. Together, they tell the client whether you actually live at the standard you claim. Because people forget what they bought. They never forget how you made them feel. So let me bring this all the way home. When a man names a paint color after his wife, when a dealer connects a car to his grandfather's pearl diving legacy, when someone who saved their whole life finally buys one and says it made them part of something they never would have been a part of, they are all saying the exact same thing. Rolls-Royce does not build cars. It builds the material expression of someone's life achievement. The real product, the thing people pay $28 million for, is meaning. And here's the part that should light a fire under you. Building that does not require a German parent company or a 100-year head start. It requires 3 things you already have access to: an uncompromising standard, a founding conviction, the willingness to do the work most people won't. As Henry Royce said over a century ago, the line still painted on the wall at the Goodwood factory, take the best that exists and make it better. When it does not exist, design it. Luxury was never about being expensive. It's about being intentional. And intentionality, unlike capital, is available to your business from day one. If this reframed how you think about your own business, do 2 things for me. 1, comment below with the 1 principle you're going to actually implement this week. Not all 8, just 1. The painter watching this, the HVAC technician, the clinic owner, tell me which one. Number 2, this is the whole model we build for service businesses at Inspired Method. We take one long-form video of you doing what you're already great at, and we turn it into the kind of proof that makes other people call you the best in the city. If you want that engine working for your business, the link's in the description. In the next episode in the Luxury Brand series is going to do the same thing with another icon. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm Trevor Samons. Strive for excellence. Accept nothing nearly right. See you in the next one.